Owner, broker, buyer, lender. Let's talk about the different players in a transaction and how they approach the value of a business. So, clocking in at the height but least likely to consummate in a sale is the owner's figure. Bummer, right? The star of the show usually does not get the credit she deserves, right? Like I said, like that seller always has that figure in their mind of what they want. Coming in at a close second is the ever optimistic broker. High on hope and hungry for commission, they're usually padding the price a smidge or a lot, depending on the broker. But right, if you've taken this course, you know not to do that. Often quoted and much debated is the idea that a business is only worth what a buyer will pay for it. A buyer will be much more critical than a broker, but there's a special something that will allow them to overpay, and that is passion. Right? I have seen buyers do some crazy things because they absolutely fall in love with the business. And sometimes they can get so enamored that they'll do basically anything to have it. I have seen near fistfights break out over a business where, 3 different people want it. So, that's of course what as brokers we all dream of, but that doesn't always happen either. So that leads us to the fourth perspective. The buzzkill of the entire group is the lender, right? This is the only person who can be totally impartial and is trained to focus on the black and white of the deal. I have not yet to see a lender who completely falls in love with the business and makes some weird decision. But needless to say, this usually ends up at the lowest price point of all of these. So with all of that noise, who gets heard? Ideally, the owner, the broker, and the lender should work together closely to assign value and bring to market something that is both fundable and attractive to a buyer. So let's all hope that this number doesn't make the buyer. So let's talk about some tools and resources that you as a business broker have. So yes is the answer. There are fancy valuation programs you can buy, but knowing how to do the basics is non-negotiable. It's going to build your confidence. You're going to physically get in there and play with the numbers and do the valuation. I think if you start from the get-go with one of these valuation programs, you're not going to get the confidence or base level of understanding of numbers that a broker who, did it the good old-fashioned way did. So after you master this, you can decide if you want to spend the money to probably spit out the same number you would have, but you'll have an illegible 60-page report attached to it. Again, there are some situations where a certified valuation or more thorough valuation is required. That's typically in the case of a legal dispute between partners, a divorce, a lawsuit. So know these things. And again, don't overstep your expertise and your knowledge base, or in this case could even be legal sort of bounds, right? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to pass it on. So one more sort of disclaimer here. Once you get into more middle market deals, the demand for these more formal valuations gets higher. And that's not to say you should not have your own, couple-page report of evaluation explaining why and how you got to the numbers you did, right? And include that in our notes as well. So some resources for you to check out. The business reference guide. I have my spreadsheet in here that you're free to use. Comps, and if you're a member of the IBBA, which I hope that you are, you will have a lot of these free or reduced cost to you, and you should definitely check them out.